episode of Spirit Plant Medicine here on Conscious Living Network. I'm Marc Caron, and I'm happy to be here with my friend and co-organizer and partner with the Spirit Plant Medicine Conference, Mr. Stephen Gray. And we are blessed to have a group of indigenous curanderos from South America that we want to speak about some of the work that they're doing to preserve their lands. And I'm going to pass it over to Stephen Gray to make some introductions and tell you more about what we're going to be sharing here today. Hello, Stephen. Thanks for being here as always.
Thanks, Mark. So just to clarify, these two gentlemen are from Mexico, and I'm not sure if they're both medicine men. At least one of them is. But I'm going to do a brief introduction of each one of them, a brief bio. But I just want to also say that the purpose of this, or what they're doing, what these gentlemen are doing, is quite remarkable in my opinion. They are traveling the world to educate people about their lands, their culture, and their sacred medicines. And they're coming to our conference to talk about that as well. And they will have also a table with their artwork, which Mark is going to show partway during the conversation today. So with no further ado, as the cliche goes, the two gentlemen that we have with us today, one of them is Don Raphael Pizano, who is a Maracame, also known as a medicine man of the Wixárika nation in Jalisco, Mexico. Some people may have heard of the term Huichol, which is the term that the Spanish conquistadores imposed upon them, but their name for themselves is Wixárika. Don Raphael is one of the few remaining medicine men, the Maracames, that have walked the ancient pilgrimage routes to sacred sites like Wirikuta, which they're going to talk about, by the way. He's been a governor of his village, and he's now assigned by his tribe to represent the Wirikuta Preservation Project to preserve the medicine and the sacred site of Wirikuta. And the other gentleman we're looking at here is Miguel Carillo. Bienvenido, Miguel. Miguel is an important representative for the preservation of the land and the culture of the Wixárika nation of northern Mexico, known to some, again, as the Huichol. He is also a musician and an artist whose work is known in museums and exhibits around Mexico. Miguel, I think with Don Raphael, now travels the world to raise money and awareness for the future of Wirikuta and the Wixárika nation. Bienvenidos, caballeros. Okay.
Yes.
That's welcome for us English folks, English speakers. Let's get right into it. Please describe to us anything you want to tell us about Wirikuta itself and the Wirikuta Preservation Project.
Hay algo que les quieran explicar sobre Wirikuta, qué es Wirikuta y qué es el proyecto de preservación de Wirikuta que se tiene.
Wirikuta tunajine kakayali wanyuki itauli tanto atua munku mwatemi kwa munku niman neyo kuwilu muna kavimo munku nano yene Wirikuta miate ne yetewa nene munata ukito malpatu tamama temana hutavi talna uye katene peyo pichimete ukai ne tiniere kai ajumemna ne yo ne timaimut keo kota mati ukitano ga peventi kuelo terawa no gala kare hi kulre como perrua bakne peiti koina patao mu ketelgo ko pume tamai tumene ye hi klika rugata tio yene no ale ta pena to pukona mier que otro te pite te mata al take carro te tahikule te nawaya lo te wana te ruri lo katate yoliene ti katate wata no hote ya te na kurata na italia ne kerri Twenty han, Pawan han, Amat Pedali, Yare Kurmutina Anna, he created Tanakurata para Ikiana and Ratan, a chorra woman, New Kayan and New Rat.
Bueno, el significado que dio mi tío dice que Wirikuta significa donde las deidades, nuestros dioses, soportan nuestra vida, nuestra vela encendida, que él peregrinó desde que tenía 12 años a pie, y desde ese tiempo se ha modificado la peregrinación a dejar ofrenda, y que ya no ha sido lo mismo. Y Wirikuta significa también donde hay hikuri, donde está la medicina, el peyote.
My uncle here is saying that Wirikuta is where life is born, is where the deities of the Mother Earth live. Is also is not the same. The pilgrimage is not the same anymore since private property has come in the land, because a lot of the spiritual preparation that needs to go to pick up this medicine has been distorted, because we cannot go to our sacred sites and visit like that. So it's not the same, the pilgrimage, and is where the heart of our medicine of peyote hikuri lives in Wirikuta.
Excuse me. Gracias. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention to the viewers and listeners that Santiago is functioning as the interpreter or translator here. Thank you, Santiago, for doing that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I would like to ask you, what is going on? Could you elaborate on what's going on that's made it so difficult to preserve the land, the culture, and the medicine?
¿Qué ha sido lo más difícil hoy en día para preservar la medicina, la cultura? ¿Por qué se enfrentan a tantas cuestiones el pueblo Wixárika? ¿Qué está pasando?
Bueno, nosotros, los Wixárika, vivimos a 600, 800 kilómetros de Wirikuta. Wirikuta pertenece en el centro norte de México. Nosotros vivimos en el centro occidente de México, casi en el Pacífico. Y como estamos lejos del desierto, es muy difícil controlar el lugar sagrado, porque ahí habitan otras personas, es otro estado, ahí no viven ni un Wixárika, y es por eso es difícil controlar el lugar sagrado, porque ahí están los ejidatarios, los habitantes de ese lugar. Ese territorio solamente es para nosotros, para entregar ofrendas, pero los que viven ahí son otros.
So Wirikuta, the most difficult part to preserve nowadays our culture and this medicine that grows there. Our culture evolves around this medicine, and we live around 800 kilometers away from where this medicine grows, from Wirikuta. That's around 400 miles or 380 miles around from where the desert is. So we used to pilgrim there, and we still do to this day. So it's land that is not in our like tribal what they call community is what they will call a reservation in the United States. So it's outside the reservation, our tribal land. Wirikuta is outside our tribal land where this peyote grows. But this is where we go pray every year since before we can remember, no? Since the beginning of time for us. So it's been difficult to keep it and preserve it when it's outside our territory. Yeah.
I understand there have been a lot of mining operations in that general area. Can you say something about what's going on with that and why that's a problem?
Yeah, que si puedes hablar un poco sobre las minas, que él se ha enterado mucho sobre las minas, que por qué las mineras son problema acá en Wirikuta.
Mm, Anteriormente, cuando mis papás, mis abuelos iban a peregrinación, no había extracción de minas. Bueno, sí lo hubo en siglos pasados, pero donde está el territorio de nosotros, donde está la medicina, todavía no existía. Y ya a partir del año 2000 en adelante, hubo para proyectos de extraer minas. Entonces ahí es cuando nosotros manifestamos que se detuvieran las mineras, porque es lo único que queda ya, donde están los manantiales, donde están los lugares sagrados para nosotros. Anteriormente se habían trabajado otra parte de la montaña, hacia la parte norte.
So in the old days when my grandpas used to pilgrim there, we're talking about the 1950s, 1940s, 1940s, so on, because there used to be no mines. There used to be mines in this area, but in the mountain range, more on the old days. But nowadays, in 2010 is when the mining corporations came in, being the biggest ones that are in Canada, and they came in there, and that's when we started protesting against the federal government to have to help us, to suspend these mining concessions that were there, because that's where our last springs that we believe life comes from there are living. So that's why we're protesting about it right now.
Gracias. So this statement I'm about to say is leading to a question. Here in Canada, and I think to a large degree in the United States as well, you probably know that over the last several hundred years, the indigenous cultures of these areas, sometimes referred to as Turtle Island, have been devastated, and most of the traditions have been destroyed. Some have survived, and there is now some degree of renaissance or reclamation of some of the cultures and the traditional ways, and some of the young people in some of our native communities are learning their original languages again, and so on. So I'm wanting to ask the gentleman, how would you say is the current state of traditional culture in Wixárika Nation at this time? How are they doing in terms of maintaining traditional worldviews, practices, languages, etc.?
Que él ha visto mucho en el territorio de toda América, que ha habido mucha pérdida de cultura por la devastación de los recursos naturales, como son las mineras, y la pregunta es, ¿en qué estado está la cultura wixárika hoy en día por la devastación de sus... O sea, ¿crees que se ha perdido mucho o no la cultura wixárika? ¿Crees que se ha devastado mucho? O sea,
nosotros tenemos 5 lugares sagrados. Está el mar, en el mar, San Blas Nayarit. Ese sitio ya se protegió, está vigilado por la gente de nosotros. Y el otro está en Chapala, Jalisco, Rapa Villameta, es un lugar sagrado de la deidad de la lluvia. Y también está encargado por el gobierno del estado de Jalisco. Y el otro está en el norte, por Jorramanacá, por Durango, en el cerro. Y ese también lo controla nuestros hermanos indígenas, pueblo Odam. Y en el centro está Teacata, que ese lugar sagrado está dentro de las comunidades Wixárika de nosotros, y el otro está Wirikuta, al este norte, y es ahí donde está ahí está el riesgo, ese lugar sagrado, porque no vivimos en ese lugar, y es donde hay más riesgo en que se pierda los manantiales, la medicina, el jicuri, porque no ha habido vigilancia, no ha habido apoyos por parte del gobierno para nosotros, para que un vigilante esté ahí, no ha habido proyectos para reforestar las áreas, para conservar la flora y la fauna.
All the Wixárika people, we have 5 main sacred sites, being to the west in San Blas, Nayarit, in the ocean there is a sacred site called Aramara that we already have managed to protect what we consider the stones that we are sacred for us and have a territory there. And then we have in the north called Jaura Manacá, Cerro Gordo, that is also protected by the Odam nation. So the brothers there help us to protect it there. And in the south, we in Chapala, Jalisco, near Guadalajara, in the lake of Chapala, there's an island called Rapa Villameta. In Spanish, it's called Scorpion Island, Isla del Alacrán. And there we have managed to save part of it for the tribe. And in the center of it, of this, we have Teacata, and that is in Wixárika territory, where we live inside our villages. So and in the east we have Wirikuta, where the medicine grows, where the peyote grows, and that's where we haven't had any help to have it protected. Even it's considered a natural reserve by the federal government. It's been sold, even if we haven't have any support from the federal government to preserve it or have any vigilantes in the area, or also preserve it from the damage of any natural predators that want to come and threaten the biodiversity of the area. So we haven't had any support like that. Even if we had the credentials and treaties that support us, there hasn't been any federal backing with this. So that's why it's very problematic where the medicine grows too.
Okay, gracias.
Yes, sir.
I know that sometimes in indigenous communities, some of their practices are they don't want to talk about in a public way. Nonetheless, I would like to ask the gentleman, what are they able and willing to tell us about the way that peyote is used in their communities? I understand it's used ceremonially, but I'm wondering if they would be willing to talk a little bit about how it's used ceremonial. And I also believe that it's used, the peyote medicine is used for various types of healing. I believe I read in a book one time that women sometimes take it during pregnancy and perhaps even during the birth process. Can they tell us a little bit about how they use peyote and what it does for people?
Yeah. Que si pueden explicar un poco sobre cómo funciona el jicuri, y porque él ha leído sobre los wirras, así que ha leído que hasta para embarazarse sirve las mujeres, o para en diferentes ceremonias, que sabe que hay cosas que no le pueden platicar a los teiguaris, que esos son muy privados de ustedes, pero que para qué tipo de ceremonias lo usan, y aparte si lo usan para tipo sembrar maíz o diferentes cosas, actividades ceremoniales durante la vida diaria del Wixárika, pues. Familiar, todo.
Sí, kuli tete tawa nata tu kala na tene kwa Israel patemi kwa watia patemi kwa Tio na vastre vutan ta mi kwa tai wa matan ta inien mu ke tan wa mi kwa tan wa utuani mata mo roga ora te tata wa tu ko tenu kame ame mu ke ta tene yo le na ta to kal mo tene ti via te yo nai tre go kala to ka ta nai tu ko pulit tata wa tu no kanu ate ya mu ke tene yo le tu mo te me ki vi ma Watia patene atua mana te tena kuivia cho alma hama tenta ukarulua pogu que tene usar watan.
El hikuri para nosotros es nuestra vida. Cuando peregrinamos, tomamos el hikuri y a la vez tomamos el agua bendita, el manantial que hay allá. Y ese agua bendita lo traemos a la comunidad, hacemos las ceremonias, el ritual para que llueva para todos los humanos y para los animales. Para nosotros, el hikuri es vida, tanto como la urra, la planta sagrada de tinta amarilla que hay en el desierto, en conjunto con el hikuri, es nuestra vida. Ahí está nuestra vela, ahí está la medicina sagrada que alimenta nuestro espíritu, el espíritu Wixárika.
Hikuri is what the heart that lives in Wirikuta is the heart of the world. That's why the pilgrims go to Wirikuta and collect the sacred water that is there. It goes together with the medicine. And this water, when we bring it back, when we do the peyote dance, it brings the rain, and that's how we call the rain. That's how we call the spirits and give life for all of us. So we also, together with the plant of the urra, that is a painting, a root that grows there in that garden. Those two plants go together with the medicine and that. And is what identifies us with Creator, and we can talk to God like that. So it's how we have it for our daily way of life. Is that where our culture has its candle and its spirit, and that's where we put our prayers.
Okay, gracias. I believe I read somewhere in some of the information about their work that they consider the preservation of their land, culture, and medicine not just important for themselves and their community, but for the whole world. Is that correct? And if so, why?
Que leyó en un lugar que los Wixárikas rezan para todo el mundo, que la peregrinación es para todo el mundo, que si eso es correcto, ¿por qué? Que si lo pueden explicar.
Aquí en la tierra, en la naturaleza, está la vida. Los lugares sagrados, los 4 horizontes y el centro es lo que conforma nuestra vida, nuestra cosmovisión. Conforma, equilibra el mundo. Y lo que nosotros hacemos es para todos los humanos y para todos los animales, para que no haya enfermedades, para que haya buena salud. Rezamos por todos, no nomás para nosotros. Por todo hacemos, por todo el planeta hacemos a que haya buena salud, a que haya buena vida.
There in this planet, we believe that everything is connected through the elements, through Mother Earth, through everything. So when we go to Wirikuta, we pray for this harmony with Mother Earth, so we can have life with it, so we can utilize it the best way we can, have value for what we have, no? That's it.
Thank you. Yeah, excellent. Thank you. I'm wondering about the role of music in the ceremonies. For example, the Native American Church in the United States and Canada also use the peyote medicine. They have their whole ceremony, not the whole ceremony. I've participated in many of them actually in the United States, and the music, the songs, they're chant-like songs in their case. They pretty much carry the whole night. I mean, there's, people pray out loud sometimes and other things happen, but the music, the songs are sung by the members of like not just one person, but the whole group sings these prayer songs all night. And other traditions also use music a lot in their ceremonies. So I'm wondering, how does music play into the ceremonial work that the Wixárika do?
¿Cuál es el papel de la música en las ceremonias? Porque él ha estado en la iglesia nativa americana y se ha dado cuenta que la música es lo que lleva a la ceremonia. Entonces, que si pueden describir un poco de cómo la música, de dónde viene y cómo se usa en las ceremonias, si hay diferentes cantos, quién puede cantar las canciones, si son todos o nomás cierta gente.
Huichol igual ti tara yene te me kayo ituwa jamoti kuikati do ti hukmuka.
Wixárika una yun te no te no yo y tú no paria tiene ya ne bueno mi ailen hay guay kai guata guatia pa que puti culta mo cuatro hermano caneo y culta bueno andamos a mí amo que la pa tenía cari toan y culta yo te cari cari la que te vamos que yo te cari cari y veía como que yo te cari cari pero va caman la vamos cambiamos ya tío te pase te cierta o que se me yo te pata lo que matana tiene que cantar que porque no tiene muy bueno lo le yo te cari cari matana rivia le tiene más chica ana tiene muy tiene tío y todo te yo no hay te bueno ya lo está cuidando yo te lo cuidamos con cierto la está ahí chile que tiene
La música que tocamos nosotros, los instrumentos, nosotros los fabricamos. Y la música lo aprendemos en la peregrinación, consumiendo la medicina, el hikuri. Hay diferentes tipos de música. Música de nuestras deidades, de los deidades que están en Wirikuta, música de los santos, música que está donde nace la milpa, el maíz, y así nosotros cantamos. Podemos cantar sin tocar instrumentos, o cuando tocamos el instrumento expresamos nuestro conocimiento.
The music, it comes from the medicine and learning from the medicine, consuming the medicine in Wirikuta. And there's different ways and different songs that we learn in Wirikuta that talk about the different spirits that live there, different plants, different mountains, water springs, etc., etc. And there's songs also that we have for different ceremonies, also with our saints. And also when we have to plant our corn, we have different songs, and we have songs with instruments, that those instruments, we are the ones that have to build them, and from certain kinds of trees in certain seasons. But everything, we learn it from the medicine, even planting our corn, and everything comes from it. It's all together, the music, the corn, and the medicine, like that.
Muchas gracias. Excelente. Gracias, Miguel y Raphael. Okay, Santiago, I don't know if this next question is going to go anywhere or not, but it depends on whether the gentlemen know anything about this. There is a what's sometimes called a psychedelic renaissance going on around the world. Many more people are using some of these medicines, ayahuasca in particular, psilocybin mushrooms, the San Pedro cactus, also known as huachuma, and some others. I'm wondering, are they aware of this renaissance, and do they have any feelings or thoughts about it, how it's going or what they think of it?
Que ahorita hay un movimiento que se llama el renacimiento psicodélico, que mucha gente en el mundo está tomando ayahuasca, hongos diferentes, como pues, San Pedro, diferentes medicinas. ¿Que ustedes qué piensan de que haya tanto así y que, pues, que dónde queda la medicina que ustedes cargan, el hikuri? Dentro de esto, ¿cómo ustedes les gustaría que todo el mundo lo haga o no, que no lo haga toda la gente? O no, pues como hacer eso. Y si saben de este problema, pues de este renacimiento psicodélico.
Bueno, nosotros, los abuelos, siempre platican en la comunidad que el ser humano ya ha avanzado más y ha buscado medicina por el contexto que vive actualmente. Busca medicina, cómo salir espiritualmente adelante, y también agradecemos nosotros que muchos investigadores hayan descubierto el hikuri y lo hayan difundido. Y a base de eso han buscado nuestra medicina de hikuri, han llegado a nuestra comunidad buscando ese proceso en sus vidas, a mejorar su salud. Pero nosotros seguimos haciendo la peregrinación de igual manera como lo iniciaron nuestros ancestros. Y con nosotros se han integrado más gente para saber más de esta medicina.
Y quieres saber qué opinas de quién la hace y así, ¿sabes?
Y para nosotros está bien que la gente que busca su renacer llegue con nosotros, pero que lleguen bien con nosotros, que llegue bien a los abuelos,
Sí.
a investigar bien para cómo consumir la medicina, no llegar solo al desierto. Ese es siempre lo que nosotros recomendamos. Mientras lo usen de esa manera, les va a ayudar.
So we have first of all, he's very thankful to I'm very thankful to all the community that has come and do research about this medicine. I'm very thankful that there's scientists and anthropologists that have come visit the tribe since I remember, like wanting to know more about it, wanting to how we use it in our daily way of life and how they can also use it. People have asked our elders, no? But so we are always very thankful that they have come, and we believe that everybody can benefit from the medicine and open up their heart and use it to benefit their way of life. So saying that, what also the tribe has asked is that everybody should always should go and ask permission to them, because a lot of people go to the desert and due to they want to experience the medicine, they don't ask permission to the tribe anymore. So there's a lot of people and travelers and everybody that they wish they could know, so they can tell them more about it, tell them the stories about it, tell them the way their people have lived for it and how the elders use it and different ways of preparing it and etc., rather than just going and experience it by yourself. So that's something that the tribe wants. So but they are aware of the movement, but like they just want to be counted in, like they have a voice like that. I guess. Yeah. What he's saying. Yeah.
Claro, gracias.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So tengo una idea para este momento. Marc has some slides of the artwork. I don't know exactly whose it is, if some of it's Miguel's or if it's collected from various members of the community, but I'm going to suggest to Marc that he start putting some of those slides on, and perhaps Miguel can talk a little bit about them while that's happening. But I also want to ask a question for Miguel. Yeah, I also want to ask a question for Miguel, starting with a quick statement. I'm aware that in a number of indigenous cultures, art is not separate from the sacred work, the ceremonial work, the worldview, the sacred worldview of the community.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering what the role of art or the relationship of art to that sacred work is in their community, in their nation.
¿Cuál es la relación de lo sagrado con el arte y de dónde viene?
En el arte de nosotros, como dijimos anteriormente, consumimos el jicuri, y cuando estamos en el estado de jicuris, vemos el rostro de nuestras deidades, el rostro del venado azul y sus colores, el multicolor. Entonces, en las piezas expresamos toda nuestra cultura. Aquí en mi pulsera, por ejemplo, aquí está la cara del venado, se ve la imagen del jicuri. Entonces es lo que nosotros expresamos en las figuras. Ejemplo, el jaguar significa el fuego. El fuego antes, cuando nació, se convertía en jaguar. El fuego se convierte en jaguar, en lobo y en león. Esos tres animales son protectores de nuestro abuelo fuego. Y en esos animales reflejamos todas las deidades, el rostro de las deidades, así como entendemos la vida. Ahí podemos ver símbolo de planta de maíz, podemos ver águilas que son las deidades que están en el cielo, ojos de Dios, diferentes formas de jicuri. Cada persona entiende diferente a las deidades y los plasma de diferente manera.
When we eat the medicine in Wirikuta, we see the face of our deities, of our spirits, of our grandpas, our grandmas, and our eldest ones. So that's what we put here on our art. That's what, like for example, here there was a jaguar, a red jaguar on the pictures, and that represents the beginning of creation. When the fire came, there was no sun, and the fire was there, and the fire used to turn himself into tiger. So there's a sacred site also that we have there for this story. So in that everything that comes from our cosmology, we see the eyes of God, the corn, different figures and the meaning, and how all of them relate. There was also a chameleon there that represents the under, how you say it, like the protection. So it's the cosmology that we see in Wirikuta through eating the medicine of peyote, of hikuri.
So just for our viewers, by the way, hikuri or ikuri, that's another word for their word for the peyote, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
The word for the medicine peyote is hikuri. Peyote comes from Nahuatl, from peyote.
Okay, Thank you. Yeah. So in a moment, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Marc. But before doing so, I just want to ask Miguel and or Don Raphael si tienes más que hacer, or pardon me, hablar or decirnos. One last message before I turn it back over to Marc.
Que si tienes algo más que decir, así para la cámara, o quieren decir algo usted también, don Rafa. Miguel.
Que van a petiku elwa que ya tiye na wano que petiku elwa que te anan que Wirikuta ta ukari ma ni que me llega que Huichol no ko bo ban no chuai que van petiku elwa Wirikuta puesta.
Ya te ponen na kuelo. Ya requete na ni que ya requete na kuna tu na kuelo na tau kalimo. Ram roa no noiwa. Kalau ya kan na kuelo wa. Sung mala ta kan ka u ka bo te ya ni kan te ma le lu. Mala ta ka u bo te na kuelo wa ya requete ana te na mi ni que to ka le ya.
Dice, yo pienso que nuestra cultura nunca se acabe, que mis hijos y mis nietos sigan el camino mío y toda nuestra cultura permanezca. Y lo que dicen ellos, nuestros abuelos, nuestros papás que todavía viven, hemos recorrido todos los lugares sagrados haciendo estudios, porque ya son pocos los que existen todavía, y les hemos pedido apoyo a nuestros amigos, al grupo de Santiago, les pedimos apoyo hace 5 años, les permitimos nosotros el centro ceremonial Tonuguame que conocieran nuestra cultura, que comieran el jícuri y la medicina, y también a la vez nosotros les solicitamos, avalado por la comunidad, por la asamblea, que consiguieran apoyos para ese lugar sagrado Wirikuta, ya que está en riesgo. Y hasta ahorita tenemos ya más de 1 año trabajando y creamos un proyecto que se llama Proyecto Preservación de Wirikuta. Y hasta ahorita estamos muy agradecidos nosotros porque hemos adquirido un terreno que casi está por finalizar y ahí sigue, ahí falta meter proyectos productivos, ayudar a los ejidatarios de Wirikuta, trabajar con ellos y que ellos no acepten las minerías y que nosotros les ayudemos porque a ellos también no les conviene que haya minerías porque acaba con el agua. Y ellos tienen sus ganados, sus plantas medicinales, todo. Son campesinos como nosotros los que viven ahí. Entonces nosotros queremos trabajar mucho y hemos estado viajando a diferentes partes del mundo para difundir esta información y a la vez solicitar apoyos con científicos y de manera económica también, y recursos humanos que se integren con nosotros para salvaguardar nuestra cultura.
For me, for my uncle here, he says that his culture is never gonna end. That's the instructions that he had to do from his elders to keep his culture going. So that's, he wants it going for his kids, his grandkids, great grandkids to come, because that's the way of life with the medicine that they need to keep going. If not, his way of life that they've been preserving for all these years is gonna die. And nowadays we have authorized we have asked people outside our community to help us, and we have authorized a non-profit to help us with this project to start financing buying land that is being threatened by the mining companies, buying it back. So I'm putting it on tribal lands, on our tribe's name, so we can preserve it, and we have acquired around 226 hectares. We want to ask help for the international community. They can help us, any scientists out there, biologists, people that know about permaculture. We need to do a lot of work in the area. We need to fix the environment there that has been a lot of damage, because this medicine grows there naturally by God, not planted or anything. So we need help from the community with any funds, with anything. We are asking for help. The project that we have authorized is called the Wirikuta Preservation Project, and the whole tribal council and the ceremonial centers have, the Minister of Culture of our tribe has also approved it. So all that tribal assembly with our traditional authorities have approved it. So we are asking for help to the international community to help with this, and so we can preserve our tradition and our way of life. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Muchísimas gracias por su entendimiento, your understanding. I'm going to turn it back over to Marc in a second, but just want to say again, muchísimas gracias, caballeros, señores. These gentlemen and Santiago, I assume you'll be there at our conference on November 4th, 5th, and 6th in Vancouver. Yeah. And you'll be bringing the artwork as well, which is to raise money for this essential or very important cause, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, excellent. Right. So, Marc, you want to finish things up, and you have a little video you want to show too, right?
Yeah, we're going to close off the beautiful video that's been created showing the lands and the people and just outlining their project. I want to just say thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us here to have this conversation and share the work that you're doing to preserve your lands. It's something that's near and dear to us here at the Spirit Plant Medicine Group, because we recognize the importance and the power of the indigenous cultures around the world, and it's something that we're always active to support in any which way that we can. And as we move forward, if there's anything that we can do to support your work, we're happy to do so. And we look forward to meeting you in person in November at the Spirit Plant Medicine Conference, seeing your artwork. There's some beautiful pieces there that I just completely.
Sorry to interrupt, Marc, but let Santiago tell them what you just said. That was really good.
Thank you for bearing along with me, Marc. Also, only my CPU is Windows 95, man.
Well, you're doing a great job.
Sí, okay, sí. Que muchas gracias por todo, que vamos a cerrar el programa, que a ellos les interesa mucho ayudar a preservar la tierra y que saben que van a llevar su artesanía. Y nos vemos en Canadá en noviembre y pues gracias por todo.
Se les agradece a ustedes por entender nuestro sentir y gracias por la invitación y allá estaremos.
So I'm very thankful, and thank you to all of you, the community of the whole event, and the Plant Medicine, Spirit Plant Medicine Conference, and thank you. We'll be there, and thank you for having a heart and remembering my people in this conference.
El placer es mío y Marc.
Well, it's absolutely our pleasure. It's so important to really preserve and bring to the attention the ancient indigenous ways that are really impacting our culture around the world today. So I thank you for stepping up, stepping out, traveling the world and sharing your work, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Okay, muchas gracias, que es muy importante preservar las indígenas y gracias por viajar por el mundo y echarle ganas.
Juan Parios.
Juan Parios.
Thank you.
Buenas noches.
Muy buenos días.
Buenos días.
Okay, so I guess we're
Buenos días.
Yeah.
gonna wrap it up, Stephen.
Yeah. You go ahead, Mark.
All right, so we're gonna play a short video just to close out our session today. And if you feel called to contribute and support their work, there's links below wherever you're watching this, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Facebook, or in our membership platform. Please consider supporting these gentlemen in their work.
Thank you.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego. No sé, un café acá.
Cái tiêu là nó tao cái sờ bom tar ra ta cái
Get louder, Mark.
Why say one more ta
That's all I got.
cáiวันอยู่cầm tam mà đi mưa cứ ta cái why tập cái chỉ hai cái rồi đó từ ya tiêu ven tiêu từ wat từ tâm ta ara cái tâm ta ara cái ari tu levan lagi taya tam cái kia mà có cái cha na cái cái quê yêu quê riêng cả anh mà đi một cô man này ya ta tên nhiều lắm mà ai tới rồi nó tây qua đi rồi cái paวันtao cái chuyện mà cô mình kêu cái thì cô đi tới làm cái qua đi tới làm cái chỗ mình kia thì ta mà học cầm cái thì cô đi Hakukuya yo kuna rumah le kaya nama teng akan di rumah turat kan nyohana tekan kali tato si mali takaka mali le tawa itar muya mana li tanah waya dia kali kuya di uam tinia lalu mu kuyu kue dia kali mu kali
Sikili Miguel Carillo, soy Wixárika, originario del pueblo de Tateque, Mezquitín, Jalisco, México. Estoy en este lugar que se llama Wirikuta, nombrado por nuestros tatarabuelos desde hace más de 300 años. Cada año siempre hemos venido peregrinando a estos lugares para conservar nuestra cultura Wixárika, nuestra cosmovisión. Este es un sitio sagrado, toda la naturaleza que está en este lugar, los manantiales, todo es muy sagrado. Este se llama Hikuri, es el maíz, es el venado. Conservando esto, nosotros vivimos, dependemos de nuestro maíz, de nuestro Hikuri y de nuestro venado. Este sitio anteriormente era libre para nuestros tatarabuelos, pero actualmente allá hay empresas que están acaparando este lugar, como las jitomateras y otras industrias. Entonces, por eso necesitamos nosotros este terreno. Ustedes nos pueden apoyar para adquirir hectáreas y poder reforestar el mismo Hikuri y cuidarlo para toda la vida, para el futuro de nuestros hijos, de nuestros nietos. Pampa Dios, muchas gracias. Quatro, então,